everyone. This is an analysis of CAT 2016. To start with, the paper was exactly as was announced. It was 34 questions of verbal ability. That was the first section with 1 hour time limit. The second was logical reasoning and data interpretation put together, 32 questions, again 1 hour sectional time limit. And the third one was quantitative aptitude with 34 questions and 1 hour time duration. So we start with verbal ability. The 34 questions of verbal ability were distributed across 24 questions of RC and 10 questions of non-RC verbal ability based questions. The distribution of the RCs was exactly similar to that of last year, with 3 RCs of 6 questions each and 2 RCs of 3 questions each. All in all, the density, or rather I can say the vocabulary level inside the RCs has come down in comparison to last year. So it was reasonably easy to comprehend the RCs. And even as far as the questions are concerned, I can say that out of the 24 questions, 14 to 15 questions were pretty direct. So they were such that if you had given a thorough reading of the RC, you would be in a position to answer those 14 to 15 questions. There were 4 to 5 inference-based questions and 4 reasonably tricky questions. So all in all, if a student tries to give, say, 40 minutes to RCs, which means approximately 8 to 9 minutes per RC, he'll be in a position to attempt approximately 20 questions. And the fact that certain options were close in a couple of questions, 17 to 18 correct with 2 to 3 incorrect, is something which we expect from a 97-98 percentiler as far as RC is concerned. About the non-RC questions, we'd like to allocate the remaining 20 minutes, and those 10 questions are 3 questions of out of context or logical discontinuity based questions, 3 questions on summary, and 4 questions on parajumbles. Now, because all of these 10 questions were key-in questions, it was really necessary that you reach the answer. Out of the 4 questions of parajumbles, 3 of them can be called tough, 1 of them was easy. About the summary questions, out of 3, 2 of them were easy and 1 of them was relatively tough. And as far as logical discontinuity is concerned, all the 3 questions can be called as easy. So here, drawing a parallel, a 97-98 percentiler will be able to get approximately 7 attempts in 20 minutes of these non-RC questions, and an expected accuracy could be 5 correct and probably 2 or 3 incorrect. All in all, for the verbal section, for securing 97-98 percentile, a net correct of 20 questions can be called a good shot at 97-98 percentile. Very similarly, a 90 percentile can be given for a net correct of around 14, and an 80 percentile can be at a net correct of 10. That's for the verbal section. Moving on to the second section, which was LR and DI. If you look at last year, there were 4 sets of logical reasoning and 4 sets of data interpretation. This year that moved a little bit towards DI, and we had 5 sets of data interpretation and 3 sets of logical reasoning. That was a minor change because kids are undoubtedly prepared for both of them, so it's not going to come as a shocker. But the quality of the paper has undoubtedly gone up, with the difficulty level considerably higher in comparison to that of last year. And secondly, given the nature of these LRDI questions, the first 3 to 4 minutes gets absorbed in just understanding the set in itself. So effectively, there is certain pressure mounting for the fact that you aren't able to solve all the sets, and moreover, there's something that is weighing you down that you've already invested some time into it. Hence, this can be called the trickiest or probably the decider as far as this year's CAT is concerned. Owing to the fact that it was difficult, undoubtedly the cutoff will fall. Our prediction for this particular section is that a 97-98 percentile will be at a net 11 correct, a 90 percentile at around 8 net correct, and an 80 percentile at 6 net correct. Moving on to the third section, which was quantitative aptitude. We can call this section as moderate difficulty level in terms of the spread of questions. But what was notable was the fact that there was a presence of at least 1 question from each of the chapters which is being taught in aptitudes. A question from number system, 1 from progression, probably set theory, log, inequalities, lines, angles, triangles, polygons, circles, coordinate geometry, PNC, you name a chapter and it was present there. Undoubtedly, holding on to the past, they did not ask a single question of probability. Neither was there a presence of functions or heights and distances. Direct application or classical questions of quant, there were approximately 11-12 questions. The second round, or rather those set of questions which would ideally take up 3 to 4 minutes to solve, were around 12 to 13 in number, and approximately 10 to 11 questions can be called as tough as well. One weird thing that was there was that the sign of a square root, which was important for solving 4 questions, wasn't so clearly visible on the test screen. So that could have led to a certain distraction as far as the student is concerned, and certain lack of confidence as well, because the particular sign which was visible on the screen was not that of a square root, but it was that of a pi. So a mature cat taker would have probably cracked it, but just that it was a distraction and it did drain off certain time. All in all, if I look at the percentiles prediction for this section, a 97-98 percentile can be at 20 net correct, a 90 percentile can be at approximately 13 net correct, and 80 percentile can be called at approximately 9 net correct questions. All in all the 3 sections put together, we can say that the paper has been on slightly the difficult side in comparison to last year. Our predictions for the cutoff are such: for somebody to secure 99 odd percentile, he should be targeting 47 net correct questions. For those kids who are in the 95 percentile, who are aiming the 95 percentile range, should ideally have around 36 net correct questions. 90 percentile would be at approximately 31 net correct questions. 80 percentile should ideally be at 26 net correct questions, and 70 percentile should be at approximately 21 net correct questions.